Good morning, class. Okay, so yesterday we were doing still the percentage is going on, but as soon as I will complete the percentage, we can say at least 35% of the syllabus is over. At least 35% syllabus is over. And I told you the importance and all, like in last two classes. So, okay, I think I have given one question yesterday. Have you tried that? P, some question was there, 40% of P plus some 65% of, I told you the method also, rule of rejection, just a minute. The question was simple. The question was like people were asking, sir, can we leave this question in the examination? There is no need of leaving. It's an easy one, not a difficult one. But the method is different. And that's why you are in the class to learn the new methods. So the question was, P is equal to 40% of A plus 65% of B, and Q is equal to 50% of A plus 50% of B, and it was given that A is more than B. And four options are given: P is more than Q, Q is more than P, P n equal to Q. I told you, whatever is the given condition, understand, whatever is the given condition, you have to try to prove every option wrong. And whatever is left, that will be your answer. And don't do like this. First, you have done something and first statement is wrong. Then you will say second is correct one. This is not like that. You have to prove every option wrong. Like for example, I told you, let's take first case, A is equal to 100 and B is equal to suppose 10. Condition is A is more than B. It is satisfying here. A is more than B. Let's try to find out the value of P. The value of P will come 40% of A, that means 40, plus 65% of B, that means 6.5. This becomes 46.5. And Q is equal to 50% of A plus 50% of B, and this becomes 55. That means from here I can say Q is more than P, then certainly option A cannot be correct. I'm not sure about whether this is correct or not, but I'm damn sure option A cannot be correct. I always tell like this, in such problem you have to think like this. There is one friend, two kind of friend are there. One friend is there who always help you. Another friend is there who sometime help you, sometime don't help you. So you will choose which friend always? You will choose the friend which always help you. Same thing here. The correct answer will be which is true in all the condition. That means whatever value you will take A is equal to 100, B is equal to 10, or you can take any value, A is equal to 100, B is equal to 50, A is equal to 100, B is equal to 99, any value you will take, then every case the option will be true, that will be the correct answer. But here I have taken one value, and by this value I can say Q is more than P. So this doesn't mean that option number B is correct. Please listen carefully. This doesn't mean that option number B is correct. How 6.5? 65% of B. How much is B? 10. What is 65% of B? 6.5. 60% is 6. 5% is 0.5. I have taken two value. One is 100, one is 10. Okay. So what I told you, this implies that option number A cannot be correct and option number C cannot be correct. Why option number C cannot be correct? Because there is a one case, where both are not equal. That means two options are wrong. A and C are wrong. Now only B and D is there. Now the second case I told you, what you can do? You can take very near value. Take this as 100, this as 99. I'm not doing anything extra. Whatever I told you yesterday, I'm doing the same thing. Now, this value become 40, and technically, instead of 99, I can take 99.99999 because still A is more than B. Or if you're getting confused, 99 is also okay, no issue with that. If I have to find out the 65% of 99, the 65% of 100 will be 65. So 65% of 99 will be just lesser than that. So I will take value as suppose 64. Suppose I will take value as 64. What I am telling you, 65% of 99. I know that 65% of 100 will be 65. So 65% of 99 will be just lesser than that. And lesser than I have taken 64. You can take 63 also, no issue with that. Now, let's find out Q. Q is 50% of A. 50 plus 50% of B. Again 50% of 100 will be 50. This will be just lesser. Let's take it as 49. And if you add these two values, again, remember, need not to solve, okay, you are finding out 65% of 99 and you are just doing the multiplication and division of all this thing. Approximation. I told you, which option is correct is more important. You need not to find out the exact value here. Understand very clearly this thing. So this become more than 100. And this become less than 100. This become less than 100. That means there is a certain condition where P is more than Q. Certain condition where P is more than Q. That means I can say that option B is also wrong. By first case, I have told you option A and C is wrong. And by this case, I can say option B is also wrong. So A, B, C all are wrong. Only one option is there. And that option is what? That option is option number D. Option number D. So always remember, whenever such case will come, you have to find out by two cases. One take very near value and one take value like 110. You can take 200 and 100, whatever is suitable for you. But what is the aim? Aim is to prove every option wrong. To prove every option wrong. Don't go for, okay, this is the correct one. This is called as rule of rejection. Whenever in life you have 5 options, always try to find out which option you can reject. And suppose, see, whenever, sir, can you please show question and option once again? Okay, question number 11, please show on the screen. Question number 11, please show on screen. Okay. So, whenever like a student come to me and they ask, sir, I'm not getting motivated, how to prepare for UPSC, and like the first year I have given the prelims and not able to clear, then again 2-year gap is there. So I always told the student just find out the one motivation why you want to clear this examination. Just one motivation is enough. And that motivation should be like I can say anything. It can be anything. You want power, you want a social status, fine. You want a good job, you want I can say a good status in society, anything. Or you want to take revenge from your neighbors, that's also fine. But that should be that much like intense, the motivation should be that much intense that you can, whenever you will feel demotivated, and that one thought will again make you motivated and you can start working. Otherwise what happened, I told you yesterday also, is a very long journey. Generally people came to the, start preparing after 2 months, they lose all the motivation and now they are not getting anything like how to prepare. Because see, the journey should not be very straight. It should not be like this. Even if you ask topper, they cannot go like this. It might possible they start very high, then low, then high, then low, and this is the part of the game. You cannot read every day 10 hour, 20 hour. Most students get frustrated. Sir, today I am not able to read some 6 hours or 7 hours. It's fine. It's okay. You are also a human being. So please make sure whatever your study plan, stick with that. The best way is start giving the mock paper, start practicing the writing skill, start reading some good newspaper, start reading some good books apart from your syllabus, because that will help you understanding of everything, every aspect of India. Fine. The process is very simple. The problem is whether you are able to follow the process or not. Every simple thing in this world are difficult to follow. Anything. The simplest thing is what? Always say the truth. Okay? Or honesty is the best policy. It's a very simple thing. But this is the most difficult thing to follow. These are the most difficult virtue to follow. And what is the reason for that? I told you, the simplest thing is most difficult in this world. 1 day is fine, 2 days fine, 3 days fine. After 5 day, 10 day, it's become problem. Like for UPSC exam also, any exam. The process are very simple. Just know the syllabus, prepare well, whatever is required. Some exam required objectivity, some exam required subjectivity. Here you required objective thing, subjective thing plus personality. So prelims, you know, you have to prepare well. The objectivity should be there, the more knowledge should be there. Then mains, in-depth knowledge should be there so that you are able to answer properly. And then interview is not about knowledge, it's about personality. So generally, like answer writing, you should start answer writing and all. You should start reading a good newspaper. People think that the Hindu newspaper or any of the newspaper, okay, I'm covering something extra. Why not you think that when you are reading the newspaper, you are covering your syllabus itself? Why? You see, dekho, what happened? The problem is what people think, okay, this is newspaper and this is my syllabus book. But if you see the paper, previous year, at least some 30-40% papers are coming from the newspaper. So think that whenever you are reading a newspaper, you are covering your syllabus itself. It's all mindset problem. So I always told a student, just find one motivation and that will be enough to motivate you whenever you will feel demotivated. Because the journey of 1 year and 2 years is not going to be very smooth. And that's why people join the coaching. That's why they need the mentor. Even the best mentor need the mentor. Even the best coach need the coach. Are you getting my point or not? They go somewhere when the best CEOs of the world, they try to find out some guru, some mentor, some coach or not. If you listen to any of the best CEO of the world, they try to find out some mentor who can mentor them. And that's why you guys are coming to the coaching, you guys are taking the one-to-one counseling and all. Whenever you will feel frustrated, you are coming to the faculties and all. And these are the processes. And I know that every child can clear this examination. We have seen it's not always required 90% or 80% in the class 12th, then only you can clear. Even a normal guy of 50% can clear this examination, and so many examples are there, not only 1 and 2. So I always told the student, just try to find out one definite reason to clear this examination, and it can be anything. See, there is a one rule in the mathematics: work done is equal to force into displacement. Work done is equal to force into displacement. What is displacement? Displacement means shortest distance between 2 points. Suppose I started from here, I went to point B, came back again point A, my displacement is 0. Why? Shortest distance is 0, but I have traveled some distance. I have traveled some distance. So what is work done? Force into displacement. So technically, if I ask you to do some work, and suppose in the evening or after 1 day or 2 days there is no displacement, the work done will be 0. The work done will be 0. Same thing with the examination. You are doing some work here, you are applying some force here, but suppose you are not able to clear the examination because of XYZ reason, because of any reason. Suppose you have fever on the prelims day, suppose you got some other thing on the mains day. Okay? So what will happen in that case? In that case, suppose you are not able to clear your examination. So what will happen? Nobody will tell you, okay, you work very hard, you have done tremendous work, you have given your 3-year, 4-year, 5-year. Are you getting my point or not? Nobody is going to come and tell you all this thing. They will tell, okay, your work done is 0. And first your relative will come and they will say, I know that he or she is not going to achieve anything. As soon as your result is 0, your work done is 0, you are not able to clear, first your relative will come and they will tell, okay, I know that you are not going to, this guy is not going to achieve anything. And when there is a displacement, whenever you are able to clear the examination, then again same relative will come and they will say, मैंने कहा था, and I have already told you, this guy is going to do something. And this is the bitter truth of the society and world. So accept that. Society is like this. We cannot change that. So our aim should be this work done. We have to do something so that we can achieve something. Otherwise, I have seen people are here in like a Mukherjee. Now everybody is at home, but initially people were there in the Karol Bagh or Rajinder Nagar or Mukherjee Nagar, and they are not able to clear the examination, frustrated and all. And finally, after 5 years, 6 years, the work done will be 0. The work done will be 0. So always understand, you have to work hard in such a way that you clear the examination. And I told you, some property required, some aspect required, mains answer writing, covering of syllabus. If suppose I'm not good at, suppose I'm not good, I'm a maths faculty, I'm not good at biology. So what I will do? There is no other option. I have to read biology if it is coming in the examination. So very simple thing is there. Generally what we will do, we will avoid such thing. Suppose if I am not good at math, I will try to avoid. I am not good at polity, I will try to avoid. This is not the option. This is not the option. Are you getting my point? Not? The option is you have to clear the examination. You have to clear the examination. So my request to you guys is, take your time, ask yourself why you want to prepare this examination. What is the reason behind that? It can take 1 day, it can take 2 days, it can take 5 days, no issue with that. But once you find that, just note down somewhere and remind yourself every day, okay, I want to become IAS because of this. And that will motivate you in such a way that you will work hard. And sometime you might have listened about Elon Musk, you might have listened about so many other people, and you might have listened this also. They are working 15 hours, 16 hours, in 20 hours in a day. What is the force behind that? The force behind that is that motivation. They want to achieve something. So you can also see, I told you, anybody in this class who is attending this class, anybody who is preparing for this examination have potential to clear this examination, and I have proof for that. I can prove that even a guy with a 50%, 40% marks in class 12 has cleared the examination. And even the guy 90% in the class 12 has cleared the not able to clear the exam. That doesn't mean that 90% guys cannot clear. I'm saying the example, both example are there. So what is required is not about your class 12th mark. What you are going to do in next 6 months is going to define your future. Are you getting my point or not? Listen very carefully. The next 3 months, next 4 months, next 1 year is going to decide your future. Otherwise, you know the final result. You will settle for the less. If you have a quality for IES, then why to settle for PCS? Why to settle for the any other examination if you have a quality of IES? Even in the IES exam also, why to settle for the IFS or any other exam if you have a quality of IES? Yes, if you have a aspiration of IFS, it's fine. But suppose first 3 services, IES, IPS, IFS, then why to settle for any lower services? So, is deciding factor. So please, this request to you guys, fine, just find out that motivation. Take your time, 2 day, 3 day, do brainstorming. Accept that fact, okay, this is my motivation. This is why I am going to prepare this examination. And I told you, it can be because you want to take revenge from your neighbor. Kabhi aapki बेइज्जती की थी उसने. That's why you want to take revenge from your neighbor. That's fine, no issue with that. But the feeling should be that much intense. Okay, I will prepare, I will work hard for 20 hours. I will work hard for 16 hours, 12 hours. But yes, I will clear the examination. Okay, come back to the questions, mathematics. See, maths, if we have done so many questions. Now one question is like this. One question is like this. Suppose it is given that, you can note a question, in an examination, come here, come back to the mathematics. A question is there. In an examination, Ram got 30% marks, 30% marks, and he failed the examination, by 10 marks. In an examination, Ram got 30% marks and failed the examination by 10 marks. In the same exam, Shyam got 40% marks. Shyam got 40% marks and he passed the examination by 15 marks. And he passed the examination by 15 marks. Two conditions are given. The first condition is Ram got 30% marks and he failed the exam by 10 marks. In the same examination, Shyam got 40% marks and passed the examination by 15 marks. Now they can ask anything. What is the passing marks? What is the total marks? Anything they can ask. The question are, what is the passing marks? What is the total marks? Anything they can ask. Let's try to solve this question. Very simple one. See, suppose this line is showing the total marks. This line is showing the total marks. This is for understanding purpose. This line is showing the total marks. Now, suppose this is passing marks. We don't know. Somewhere here is the passing marks. Ram is getting 30% marks and he failed the examination by 10 marks. What is the meaning of failing the examination by 10 marks? The meaning is, if he would have got 10 marks more, he would have passed the examination or not? If he would have got 10 more marks apart from 30%, he would have passed the examination or not? That means he is 10 marks behind the passing marks or not? So I can say that if I add 10 marks more in the 30% marks of Ram, he will pass the exam or not? I think this is clear. Similarly, Shyam got 40% marks and he passed the examination by 15 marks. What is the meaning of passing the exam by 15 marks? The meaning is he is getting 15 marks more than passing marks or not? Are you getting my point or not? So if you see, the total marks between Ram and Shyam is 25. The total marks between Ram and Shyam is 25. And if you see, the total marks here is 10% marks. This is showing what? This is showing 10% of total marks. This is showing 10% of total marks. So we can say that 10% of total marks is equal to 25. So 100% of total marks is equal to 250. 100% of total marks is equal to 250. Now you can find out any of the thing now. You can find out the passing marks. How can we find out the passing marks? Find out 30% of the marks. What is 30% of this marks? 10% 25, 30% 75. I will add 10 marks more, so passing marks will be 85. Yes, is correct. I hope this is clear, very easy one. Then there was a question in your examination. Question number 13. It will come in your screen. Question number 13. Fine? Okay. Now the question is very simple. You can see that a student has to get 40% marks to pass in an examination. Suppose he get 30 marks and failed by 30 marks. This is again very easy. It's very easy. A student has to get 40% marks to pass in an examination. Suppose he get 30 marks and fail by 30 marks. See, total 40% marks required, 40% marks required to pass the examination. 40% marks required to pass the examination. He got 30 marks and failed by 30 marks. That means for passing, he should have get the 60 marks. For passing, the total marks required are 60. This is in term of marks and this is in term of percentage. So I can say that 40% is equal to 60. 40% is equal to 60. When I saying 40% is equal to 60, now you can find out the 100%. There are so many ways. Find out 1%, 60 upon 40, multiply by 100, you will get your answer, that will be 150. A simple one. Simple one. Okay. Then now one more thing is, देखो, I am always focusing on the language of the exam or language of, sorry, question. I am focusing on the language of the question. What is the meaning by passing the exam by 10 marks? What is the meaning by failing the exam by 10 marks? And if you learn, देखो, percentage basic is over. Already you know the basic of percentage. Already you know the basic of the percentage. What is required? The requirement is to understand the language of the question. And once you understand the language of the question, you need to apply the basic of the percentage. Are you getting my point or not? Are you getting my point? So what is important here? Now the important here is to know the language. So one, I told you what is the meaning of failing the examination, what is the meaning of passing the examination. And now I think Gaurav Sharma, how we took 25 as 10%. Okay, beta, we will discuss in the last now. I will take that question again because I have roughed it. Let's come to the next one. We will discuss again. Okay. Now, another type is, now be here. Be here, an important logic here. There are two terminologies. Suppose I am saying two cases are there. Suppose first case is, the question is like this. Mr. A spend 10% on food, 20% on education of children, 15% on commutation or transportation, basically we can say, transportation, and 10% on entertainment. And suppose he has left with, देखो, I am taking a random data, so might be it will come in, it become difficult sometime, because when you take random data, question become difficult because of calculation. Difficult means because of calculation, not concept wise difficult. So it might possible the final thing will be difficult. So we can solve that, no issue. My aim is to understand the concept, because when the question will come in UPSC, they will generally give you a proper data so that it's become not difficult, conceptually difficult. And suppose rest he is saving, and he is saving some 2,500 rupees. What is the question? Mr. A spent 10% on food, 20% on education, 15% on transportation, 10% on entertainment, and rest he is saving. Suppose he saves some 2,500 rupees. Find the total income of the Mr. A. Total income of the Mr. A. This is suppose a question. This is one part. The second part is, Mr. A spent 10% on food, and the question, listen carefully, the question is 20% of remaining on education. 20% of remaining on education. 15% of remaining on transportation, and 10% of remaining on entertainment. Now one extra word is added in the question, and that extra word will change everything. What is that extra word? You have to be very cautious in the examination. That is remaining. That is remaining. What does this means? See, the thing is that first case, how we will solve that? Suppose total A has 100 rupees. A has total, 100%. You can say total A has 100%. out of this 100% income, 10% on food, 20% education, 15% transportation, 10% entertainment. If you add all this thing, 10, 10, 20, 40, 55. That means he is spending some 55%, and what is left? 45% is left that he is saving, and that 45% is equal to 2,500. 45% is equal to 2,500. What we have done? We know that income is equal to expenditure plus saving or not? We know this thing. So from here we can say that saving is equal to income minus expenditure. So what was income? Income was 100%. What is expenditure? 10% food, 20% education, 30, 45, 55. That means his expenditure is 55% of total money. So if total was income was 100%, expenditure is 55%, what is saving? Saving is 45%. And they have given the saving 2,500 rupees. That means we can say that 45% is 2,500 rupees. Now can we find out the total income? Yes, we can find out. From here we can find out the 1%. And then we will multiply by 100. We will get the 100%. You can solve this thing. You will get your answer. My aim is not to tell you the answer because it can be calculative. It can be in decimal. Then you can find out. No issue with that. Are you getting my point or not? This is no remaining word. That means out of total he is saying. Now what is the meaning of this question? What is the meaning of this question? I am roughing this part. I hope this is clear to everybody. It's a very simple one. Income is equal to expenditure plus saving. So what is expenditure? Sorry, what is saving? Saving is equal to income minus expenditure. Okay. Now, come to the second part, this part. Suppose total income was 100%. Now, there is no problem here. 10% on food. 10% on food. When I am saying 10% on food, that means now what is left? 90% is left. What is left? Out of total income, 90% of the income is left. I hope this is clear to everybody. 90% income is left. Now he is saying 20% of remaining on education. Please mind this thing. They are not saying 20% of total income. 20% of remaining income. And what is remaining income? Remaining income is 90%. So that means 20% of the remaining income. The 10% is 9, 20% is 18, and if you subtract that, you will get 72. That means if you look very closely, this is the case of successive decrement or not? This is the case of successive decrement. This is not the normal case where you will add everything and simply subtract, because there is a one extra word here, and that extra word is remaining. So 20% of remaining, that means 18, that means 72% is left. Now again 52% of remaining, not total, 52% of, so 15% of remaining. When they are saying 15% of remaining, 10% is 7.2, 5% is 3.6, 10% is 7.2, then 3.6, just half of this, I will get 15%, This become 10.8. Since I have taken the random thing, that's why it sometimes look difficult, but in the examination they won't give you such data. They will give you decent data which you can solve easily. So when I will subtract 10.8 out of 72%, how much I will get? I think 61.2%. Yes, I think it's correct. 61.2% is left. And now again 10% of remaining. Now 10% of remaining means what? 10% of this is 6.12. 6.12. Are you getting my point not? And when I subtract, I think this will come as around 55 point something. 55 point something. That means this is left. This is left. Out of 100%, this is left. Are you getting my point or not? That means now this is equal to 2500. You can do the calculation part. I have taken randomly so that it might look difficult, but in the examination they won't give you such thing. But might be it look difficult here because of calculation and all. So this 55.1% is equal to this. You can find out 1% and you can find out 100%. So there are two things. One is remaining word, one is without remaining. So you have to be very careful while solving the problem, whether they are asking the remaining word or they are asking the total word. Because generally people get confused here, people answer like this and it will be wrong. And generally how they can make it more difficult? Sometime in one question itself, some part is total, some part is remaining. Suppose they will say like this, 10% on food, 20% on education, and 15% of remaining on transportation. That means two part they have used directly and one part they are telling remaining. So always understand this remaining word, and if remaining word is there, then you have to mark the problem accordingly. You have to mark the problem accordingly. So no new logic here. Everything I have told you, the successive increment I have told you, decrement I have told you, you can do like this way also. If you want to go by other way, suppose total is X, 10% on food. When you remove 10%, how much is left? 90% is left. Now this is the remaining part. Out of total income, this is the remaining part. And 20% of the remaining on education. So if you use 20% on education, that means how much is left? 80% is now left. Now, this much amount is now total left, and then 15% of remaining on transportation. So if you, now this is the total remaining part, and 15% of this is you are using for transportation. So now 85% is left, and again 90% is left, and this value is equal to 2500. So this is another way. If you want to solve by X, Y and Z, you can solve it by this way also. You will get the same answer. You will get the same answer. If you have any problem here, please let me know. I am giving you time 2-3 minutes. Because important one, I have seen question on this topic. If you have a single doubt, please let me know. Yes, 2500 is given to us. We have taken that data. The amount, saving amount is 2500. So this is the saving amount. Please explain the last point again. I think this one. Okay. Anything else you have doubt? Okay. Okay, see here. A simple example, let's take first. Suppose you have 100 rupees. You have 100 rupees. You have used 10 rupees for buying the, buying the chips, 10 rupees for buying the cold drink, and 20 rupees for transportation. If I ask you how much is left, so you will say, sir, 10, 10, 20, 40 rupees I have spent. So out of 100, now I have 60 rupees. This is the basic logic. So suppose any person total income is 100 rupees or 100%. Out of that, if he is using 10% on food, 20% on education, no remaining word, only 20% on education, 15% on transportation. So what we will do? We will add, or suppose his total income is 1 lakh rupees. So out of that he is using 10%, that means 10,000 on food. Then 20%, that means 20,000 on education. So what you will say? Sir, I will add all the money, I will subtract whatever is left, that will equal to what? That will equal to like a total saving. So if no remaining word is there, are you getting my point? But suppose if remaining word is there, what is the meaning of this? Meaning of this is, now suppose you have 100 rupees, 10% you use for food. That means 10 rupees is gone and now you have 90 rupees only. And now the second statement is 20% of remaining on education. Listen carefully. 20% of not total. If I take 20% of total, that will be 20 rupees. But when I am saying 20% of remaining, what is remain left with that person? That person is left with 90 rupees. If I subtract 20% from here, that means I am subtracting 18 rupees. That means how much is left? 72 rupees is left now. Are you getting my point not? So this remaining word is very important. Remaining means now what is left we are using from that. So this is the case of successive decrement or not? Case of successive decrement. Fine. Now this is the one way of doing. The second way of doing is where you have problem. Like suppose total income was I. Total income was I. So if I say amount left after expenditure on food, after expenditure on food, that will be I am spending 10%. I am spending 10%. What is the meaning of spending 10%? If anything was 100%, if you spend 10%, how much is left? 90% is left. That means after this expenditure, how much is left? Out of total income, 90% is left. Suppose this is F. This is after expenditure on food. Now be here, look very carefully. Be here, look very carefully. What is the second case? Second case is amount left after expenditure on education. So now he is using 20% of remaining, 20% of remaining. What is the remaining amount? Remaining amount is F. Remaining amount is F. And when you are using 20%, that means how much is left? 80% of F is left. And this is where a student face problem. So understand this thing. I'm repeating. Amount left after expenditure on food is, suppose F. So if income was I, so if you use 10% on food, how much is left? 90% is left. Now, amount left after expenditure on education, so he is using 20% of remaining, remaining is F. So if you use 20% of this amount, that means how much is left? 80% of this is left. So this become what? This become F, what is the value of F? F is equal to I into 90 upon 100 into 80 upon 100. This is the case. And now similarly, 15% of remaining on transportation. So when you use 15% of the remaining, that means what will happen? Whatever amount is left, this is the amount left. Suppose this become P. P is the amount left. Don't see all this equation, the 90 and 80. Forget about this thing. Only think about P. P is the remaining amount. And out of this P, 15% is used on transportation. That means how much is left? 85% is left. That means out of this remaining, next equation will be into 85, and then accordingly we will do. You have two options. You can go by any way. Okay, now one very genuine question. Sir, suppose we have to follow the same chronology, or we can do by other way also. We can do first 20% on remaining on education, then we can find out 10% on entertainment, then this one. Can this possible? Can this chronology will be changed? But why we are calculating 1%? We are calculating 1% to find out 100%. This is the unitary method which was taught in class, I think 5th or 6th. What was that? Suppose the price of 5 mango is equal to 100 rupees. So price of 1 mango is equal to 100 upon 5. Now as soon as you will get the price of 1 mango, you can find out anything. You can find out, suppose we have to find out price of 15 mango. So I can say, or 17 mango. The price of 17 mango is equal to 100 upon 5 into 17. This is the unitary method. No need to apply in every case. This is, if you are not getting, you can apply. The aim is what? The aim is to get 100%. And you can find out 100% anyway. Suppose, for example, data is given like this, 20% is equal to 150. We have to find out the 100%. What are the ways? One way is simply you can multiply by 5. You will get 100% is equal to 150 into 5. Other way is, this is the basic approach. That's why I'm taking this. You can find out the 1% from here. 1% is 150 upon 20. And why we are finding out 1%? Because as soon as you will get 1%, you can find out any data now. You can simply multiply by 100 and you will get 100%. Is this making sense or not? Now, the question here is, like a which order to follow. I think you can answer it. You can answer it by yourself. Let's do one experiment. Let's do one experiment. Please be here. Suppose the area of rectangle, we know that is length into breadth. Area of rectangle is length into breadth. Okay? Now, it is given that the length is increased by 20% and breadth is decreased by 10%. Length is increased by 20%, breadth is decreased by 10%. Find the change in area. Suppose this is the question. Now, we can solve this way. Till now, what we have done? We can take A is equal to 100, 20% increment. That means this become 120. 10% decrement. That means 12 decrement is become 108. That means overall increment of 8%. This is one way. Now second thing is, if I do reverse order, instead of 20% increment and 10% decrement, I will first do 10% decrement and 20% increment, just reverse way. So it was 100, 10% decrement on breadth is become 90. Now 20% increment on length, 18 is become 108. So total increment is of 8%. Total increment is of 8%. So both answers are same. That means in successive increment or decrement, you can take anything. You can take any data first. Either you can take 10% on food, then 20% on remaining on education, or you can first decrease 20%, then 10% on food. So answer is not going to change. You can follow any order. You can first decrease this, then decrease this, then decrease this, then come to this. Or any order you can follow. Answer is not going to change in case of successive increment or decrement. I hope this will answer your question. Parag question was there, so I think this is answering your question. Like you can follow any order. We need not to follow the same order. You can follow any order to answer this question. So this question also answers, sir, does we have to take the written order only? No, you can take the any order in case of successive increment or decrement. I hope this is making sense. I hope this is making sense. Okay. How the question will come here? Let's try to solve some question. Can you please explain question number 3 of practice sheet? So I think you guys can try the practice sheet, then one day I will take it, because right now I don't have practice sheet. I'm not sure which is the question number 3. So we can do it together, because I'm asking questions, say 10% on education, 15% on remaining on transportation, and then again say 20% of original amount on food. Then what we have to take means we can take first both. Yes, you can take. You can apply, you can see by yourself. Answer is not going to change. Suppose the question is given 10% on education, 15% on remaining on transportation, and then again say 20% of original amount on food. So first you can decrease 10 and 20, that means 30% from total, and then remaining 15% from the 70. No issue with that. You can try it by yourself also. Just take 100 and apply both the things. You know the decrement and all. You can do it by yourself, Parag. Just try once. If still you have doubt, I can take it up. Okay. Now I was telling like how the question will come. Suppose the question is, in an election between two contestants, A and B, in an election between two contestants, A and B, A got 54% of total valid vote. A got 54% of total valid vote. In an election between two contestants A and B, A got 54% of total valid vote. And he won the election. He won the election by 3,600 votes. 3,600 votes. He won the election by 3,600 votes. If 10% of the votes are invalid, now they can ask anything. They can ask total number of vote. They can give the statement, and they will ask which of the following statement is true or false. Any condition they can ask. Our aim is here to find out the total number of vote. To find out the total number of votes. What is the question? A got 54% of total valid votes, and he won the election by 3,600 vote. He won the election by 3,600 vote. Find the, can you try this question once? Okay. Now again try to understand the language, and is a simple one, simple case of successive decrement and increment. Let's total vote is 100%. Total votes are 100%. Fine. Total votes are 100%. Okay. Now he is telling that he got 54% of total valid vote. 54% of total valid vote. What does this mean? This means that and in the last it was given that 10% of the vote are invalid. 10% of the vote are invalid. That means out of total vote I have to remove 10% of the vote. I have to remove the 10% of the vote or not, because 10% votes are invalid. 10% of the votes are invalid. So how much is left? Now 90% is left. Now 90% is left. 90%, please listen carefully. What is given in the question? A got 54% of total valid vote. So valid vote means what? Valid vote means might be, suppose 100 people has given the vote, some votes should be invalid. It is given that 10% of the vote are invalid. When 10% of the votes are invalid, that means what? Only 90% are valid vote. 90% are valid vote. Out of this, A got 54%, and B got rest 46%. Again, the problem is what? The problem is the data is here look difficult because again I have taken the random thing. Again I have taken the random thing. Let's make this as 60. Again, otherwise it's become very difficult to solve here. 60, let's make it 60. Let's make it 60. Make this as a 60. 60% of total valid vote. So now if you see, Mr. A is getting 60% of total valid vote. So what is 60% of 90%? 60% of 90% is 54% or not? 60% of 90% is 54%. Is this making sense or not? And 40% is 36%. 36%. Again I am repeating, total votes are 100%. 10% votes are invalid. So 90% valid vote are there. Out of this 90%, 60% are what? 60% A got. So 60% means 90% ka 60%, that become 54%. And this become 36%. You can solve this question by X also. You can solve this question by X also. Suppose total votes are X. So valid votes are how many? When 10% votes are invalid, 90% votes are valid. I hope nobody has problem here. 90% votes are what? Valid. Out of this valid vote, A getting 60%. A is getting 60% of the valid votes. So this is cancel out. This become 54 upon 100x. And B will get 40% of valid vote, that will come 36 upon 100x. So this is A vote, this is B vote. What is the meaning of winning by 3600 vote? What is the meaning of winning by 3600 vote? The meaning is, see, if I say A won the election by 3600 vote, what is the meaning of this sentence? The meaning of this sentence is A is getting this much more vote or not? This much more vote. Suppose if anybody say I won by 2 vote, that means that person got 2 more vote than the other person or not? So if A is winning by 3600 vote, that means A is getting 3600 extra vote or not? If you are doing by this method, just subtract both the vote, just subtract. If you are doing by this method, just subtract both the things, and that will be equal to 3600. 3600. We can solve this thing. 54x minus 36x upon 100 is equal to 3600. This become 18x. Yes. 18x barabar 3600 into 100. Now you can find out the value of x divided by 18. This is by X method. This is by X method. You can solve this thing. The another way out is this percentage method. Total valid vote is 90%. Out of this 60%, so 60% of 90% means just 10% become 9, 60% become 54, this become 36. So he won the election by 3600 vote. That means difference will be 3600. So 18% will be 3600. Now you can find out the 1%. 1% will be 3600, and you can find out the 100% upon 18, 200 into 100, and now you can find out whatever they are asking in the question. So there are two methodology here. One is by X, another one is without X. You can simply solve it by doing all this thing. So either this X method or without X method, both the thing you can solve. The total vote will be 20,000. The total vote will be 20,000. What is important here? The important here are valid vote. What is given in the question? 54% of valid vote, not 54% of total vote. Are you getting my point or not? 54% of valid vote. Sorry, 60% of valid vote, sorry. 60% of valid vote. So valid vote was 90% and 60% of this vote, not 60% of total. So always language is very important. Language is very important in the examination. Okay, somebody is asking if A got 54% of valid vote. No. He is getting 60% of valid vote, not 54%. This value is coming as 54. This value is coming as 54. He is getting 60% of valid vote, which is given in the question. 60% of valid vote. And now B is getting, when he is getting 60% of valid, the other person will get 40% of valid. Any doubt here you can ask? I am almost like on the finishing line of percentage. Please, if you have any doubt, sir, please ask me. Anything you want to ask? Anything means right, regarding this question, regarding this percentage? Yes, I can repeat if you want. Let me know. If you have a still problem, let me know. I will repeat. You can see the question, you can find out the answer. Method number second, I think this X1. Okay. Kindly repeat percentage method. Okay. Now you can say, sir, again repeat both the part. One person is saying first method, another one is saying second method. So please dictate the question once. I think I wrote the question wrong. Fine, no issue. हाँ, जितना भी आपके मन में सब लिख दो, कोई दिक्कत नहीं. I'm okay with that. Let's negate this, that part कि भाई मुझे क्वेश्चन समझ में नहीं आया. That one part should come out of your mind. Yes, then only you will accept all this thing. First, let all the thing whichever is there in your mind, I'm not getting this, I'm not getting that, let's that come out. Then we will discuss again. Yes, this is total vote is 100%, the total vote is coming this, and then you can find out the valid vote or whatever is given in the answer. Yes, please go in rewind mode. Yes, I am going for that. I am waiting you to settle down. Because once you become calm, you will understand. Otherwise, after repetition also, you will say same thing. Sir, please repeat again. That's why I want, write it down everything which is there in your mind. Sir, how to find out X? What is the answer? What is the question? I will repeat everything. Don't worry. But first, settle down. Yes, don't worry. I will explain everything. Yes, write down. Whatever doubt you will have, you can write it down right now itself. And once you write it down, just be calm. Just give yourself some time. Concentrate again. Ask your mind to concentrate. Okay. The question was, I have changed since, I am repeating it because I have changed in between the question. The question was, in an election between two contestants A and B, A got 60% of the valid vote and he won the election by 3,600 vote. In an election between two contestants A and B, A got 60% of the valid vote and he won the election by 3,600 vote. If 10% of the vote are invalid, then find the total votes, invalid votes or valid vote, anything they can ask. Anything they can ask that depend on the question. Let's find out the total votes. The question is, let's find out the total votes. Okay. Now first come to the X method. First come to the X method because our aim should be, let's solve the problem first. By X, Y, Z anyway, let's solve the problem and then we can go by some better method and that's it. That's a different case. But first, let's solve the problem. Okay. The problem is total votes, let's assume as X. So since we know that 10% of the vote are invalid. See, anything whether you are spending 10% of the vote are invalid, the first thing which is strike in your mind should be, okay, I have to remove 10% or I have to decrease 10%. As soon as I will decrease 10% out of 100%, or simply I can say if I remove 10%, how much valid vote are there? Valid vote become 90% of the X or not? 90% of the X, or you can write like this way, 90 upon 100 into X. Fine. Now don't ask anything, concentrate here. If you ask still, then you will again ask me, sir, repeat the same. Please be here now. Now this become the valid vote. And the question is regarding the valid vote, not the total vote. The question is, the winner got 60% of the valid vote. So if this is the valid vote, can we find out the 60% of this number? Yes, we can find out the 60% of this number. How we can find out? Simply 60 upon 100 into 90 upon 100 into X. This value is what? This value is total valid vote. I am finding out the 60% of valid vote. How we can do? 60% of valid vote. And don't get confused by 90. This is a value. This is a value. It can be anything. Now total valid vote is this much. I have just put it this here and this become the 60% of valid vote. And now if this is the 60% of valid vote, the B got 40% of valid vote. I have written directly how you will get 40% of valid vote. 40% into valid vote. That means 40 upon 100 into valid vote is this much. 90 upon 100 into X. If you solve all this thing, this will come 36 upon 100 into X, which I have written here directly. Okay. Now, the question is, A won the election by 3600 vote. What is the meaning of this? That means A got 3600 vote extra. Suppose you have 200 rupees, I have 100 rupees. So what I will say? You have 100 rupees more than me. And how I will find out? I will subtract 100 from 200. So if A is getting extra vote, that means if I subtract both the person vote, I will get the extra vote or not. Same thing I have done. I have subtracted the A vote. After solving this, that becomes 54 upon 100x. And this becomes 36 upon 100x. And subtraction of this is equal to 3600. And now if you solve all this thing, the answer will come as x value I will get as 20k or 20,000. So now total vote become 20,000. Now you can find out anything from here. If they will ask valid vote, 90% of this, invalid vote, 10% of this, and answer will be done. Now, I hope this is clear. I hope this is clear now with the help of X. There is nothing here, only percentage basic concept. What is the trick here? The valid vote, the invalid vote, nothing else. The second way is, instead of X, we will assume as 100. Or here I am assuming 100%, not 100. You can assume 100 unit or anything. I am assuming 100%. So 10% are invalid. That means 90%, not 90% votes are valid. Out of this 90%, 60% are A is getting 60% vote, A is getting. So when A is getting 60% vote, how I will find out 60% of this? 10% is 9, 60% become 54. And this got 40%, so 10% is 9, 40% is 36. And if you add both the value, that become 90% or not. And the difference should be equal to 3600. That means 18% is equal to 3600. And you can find out the value from there. I hope now this is clear. I hope now this is clear. Yes, tell me, is clear or not? At least some yes, no, whatever you have. I'm okay with no also. I'm okay with no also. If you have a doubt, great, great. Okay. So this is how we can solve it. And yes, you will get the sheet. There lot of questions are there. You can solve that question and you will become now Shaktiman of percentage. You will become Shaktiman of the percentage. Okay. Now I remember one story. One of my friend is there. This is the story of some back in 2003 or 4 when people were doing the cheating and all in class 10th and 12th examination. And my friend told me, okay, in his school, class 10th cheating is going on, 12th cheating is going on. And I was literally confused because I completed my 12th and 10th from CBSE board. And there the people was very strict and we cannot even move our head. And he was saying like we are giving the books and the students are copying and all. So literally I was surprised and I went to my friend's school. And there, surprisingly, what happened? The paper, when the paper came, one person was there who is solving all the thing. And on that day, maths paper was there, and the person who need to solve that paper was little bit late. So my friend was very much in tension how to solve the paper and all. But after half an hour, that person who need to solve that paper, that person came and he starts solving all the questions. He starts solving all the question. Once he solved the question, the a solution got photocopied and it was distributed among the student. All the student got one copy and they start copying that in the actual examination paper, or like an answer sheet, I can say. Now after some time I saw that okay, everybody is copying, so I got to know okay, cheating is also possible. Now I went to the one student and I start saying okay, what he is writing and whether he is able to copy everything or not. When I check his answer sheet, in one of the answer he wrote, do calculation by yourself. Do calculation by yourself, one of the answer. In the end he wrote, do calculation by yourself. I got surprised, what is this? Do calculation by yourself. He is asking examiner to do the calculation by yourself. Then I checked the second copy. Then the same sentence was written, do calculation by yourself. And then I saw all the copies in that class and everybody was written the same thing, do calculation by yourself. I called my friend and the whole matter was the person who need to solve the paper was little bit late, and then finally after solving a question at the end he wrote there, do calculation by yourself. That means after calculation write down the answer there. And since everybody was cheating that thing, they have also written that do calculation by yourself. Okay? So yes, for nakal you need akal. Okay? For cheating also you need some brain. So that's why common sense always prevail. Common sense is most important thing in today's life. If you have a common sense, you can do wonder, you can do anything in your life, but that required a good common sense. Okay? So in the examination or like here also, if you are writing what other person is writing, same thing you are writing, then that's also required some I can say brain and all. So okay, cheating gone wrong. Yes, the correct. If you're writing an essay, you can give this as a heading, cheating gone wrong. Okay. Okay, let's take a break of 10 minutes and probably we will meet. And I think percentage is over. I will check again if any type is left. They will do it. Don't worry. But I think almost all type I have covered. You will get a sheet. Try to solve that sheet. And if you have a doubt, we will discuss. After the break, I will start the class with a puzzle because many questions they are asking the puzzles. Okay? People are asking which city this incident took place. Okay, I will not tell you. Okay, मैं नहीं बताऊंगा. Okay, fine. Let's take a break of 10 minutes. Okay. So till now we are doing the great things, like a percentage is almost over. Okay, many people are sharing their experience. That's fine. There's a one question, 800 students appear in an examination. Out of this student, 32 got first division, 38% got second division, and 10% of the remaining students failed, and the remaining just pass. Then find the number of students who just pass. Okay. The question is, out of 800, 32% got first division. So we can find out 32%, 10% is 80, 30% is 240, 240. So we can say 30% plus 2%. So 240 plus 16, that means 256 got first division. This is a one part of question. Second is 38% got second division. 38% got second division. And they are not saying 38% of remaining, they are saying the 38% of total. So 38% of total, if we have to find out, what I will do, I will find out the 40% minus 2%. 38% means 40% minus 2%. 40% is 320, you can do it mentally also. 2% is 16, this is 304. Got the second division. 10% of remaining students failed. 10% of the remaining. Now, how many are left? You can find out. 304, 256. If I add both the number, this becomes 325, 560. That means 560 have got either first division or second division. How many are left? Out of 800, if you remove 560, then 240 are left. 240 are left. And the question is, 10% of the remaining students fail. 10% of the remaining. So what is 10% of remaining? I have to remove 24. How many are left? 216 are left. And the remaining just pass. Remaining just pass. That means these students just pass. Then find out the number of students who just pass. I think it should be 216. 216. 216 just pass. 24 failed, 216, I am repeating, 30% got, 32% got first division, this is 256, 38% got second division, this is 304, total become 560, and they are saying the remaining 10% fail. So that means out of 800, 560 are either got first and second. How many are left? 240 are left. So remaining 10%, what is 10% of this number? 10% of this number is 24. So that means 24 students fail. So 216 students just pass the examination. Is difficult one? No, very easy one or not? Now you are master of percentage. You are master of percentage. You can do anything now in the percentage. Any question they are asking, you can solve it or not. Again, an easy one. Okay. Now, I am going to start the profit and loss. Don't worry, I will check again. If any type is left, don't worry. Either I will teach whole topic, or I will say, okay, I'm not going to tell you all this thing because this is not required for examination. Don't worry, I'm not going to leave you in between something. कि आधा percentage पढ़ाया, आधा नहीं पढ़ाया. I'm not going to do all this thing. I will either teach whole topic or I will tell you, okay, this is not required, so I'm not going to take all this thing. ठीक है? Same thing with the question also. If suppose I am able to solve, I will tell you. Otherwise, I am also a human being. I will accept, okay, I will tell you tomorrow. Probably I am missing something somewhere. Now, come to the profit and loss. And if I tell you, profit and loss is over, class is over. Reason is why? Why? Because profit and loss is nothing but simply percentage. Profit and loss is nothing but simply percentage. Okay? So before profit and loss, starting profit and loss, some puzzles I am giving generally which I give in the classroom, and the reason is because this kind of question UPSC is asking, and there is no separate class for puzzles. So what is the first question? Suppose a scooter is there, and listen carefully. In a scooter, 3 tires are there, 2 tires like this, one is a stepney, 3 tires is there. In a scooter, 3 tires are there, 2 on the wheel and 1 on the stepney. Total 3 tires is there. 1 tire can go maximum of 50 kilometer. By 1 tire, we can go maximum 50 kilometer. Sorry, not 50, let's make it 100. By 1 tire, we can go maximum 100 kilometer. By 1 tire, we can go, ratio type question I will take in the ratio, don't worry. By 1 tire, we can go maximum 100 kilometer. 3 tires are there in a scooter. Okay? 1 stepney to this tire. By 1 tire, we can go maximum 100 kilometer. The question is, what is the maximum distance a person can travel by these 3 tires? By these 3 tires. The option given are 100, 150, 200 and 300. And you cannot make another Dhoom 4 and you are going on 1 tire. Don't make Dhoom 4 and you are going on 1 tire. You have to go on 2 tire. Are you getting my point or not? You are saying, sir, by 1 tire I am going 100, another tire 100. That's not possible. That's not possible. What is the maximum distance a person can travel by these 3 tires? Some people are saying 100, some are saying 150. Dhoom, yes. This question has potential to come in the examination. Reason? Not a calculation based question, a pure conceptual based question. And here chances are there people will make mistake. Here chances are there people will make mistake. Okay, some people are saying 100, some people are saying 150. Let's see that. Generally such question look like in childhood. Generally your grandparents ask you, by 1 eye you can see 1 kilometer, so by 2 eye how many kilometer you will see. And this look like more or less same question, but here the logic is little bit different. Yes, many people has given the correct answer. The correct answer is 150. Let's see here how 150. Please be here. Suppose 3 tires are there, 1, 2, 3. By 1 tire I can go maximum 100 kilometer, and I have to travel anyhow maximum distance. What I will do? I will take first 2 tires. Suppose I will go 50 kilometer. I will go 50 kilometer, and what I will do? I will change 1 tire here. Suppose I have changed 1 tire after 50 kilometer. That means still this tire has capacity of 50 kilometer left or not. I have changed one tire at 50 kilometer. Now I am using tire number second and tire number third. Now I am going another 50 kilometer. After another 50 kilometer, what happened? This tire is completely exhausted or not? Because they have traveled the 100 kilometer now. But if you see, tire number first and tire number third still has a capacity of 50 kilometer more. So I will go 50 kilometer more by tire number first and tire number third. I will go 50 kilometer more by tire number 1 and tire number third. So total distance covered will be 150. I am repeating, go by any two tire, go 50 kilometer, change one tire. Why they are changing? Because they have to travel maximum distance. I have changed tire number 1, you can change tire number 2 also, no issue. One tire you can change, another third tire you can use. Now by these two tires, you can go another 50 kilometer. Now tire 2 is exhausted, why? Total 100 kilometer is done. But still at tire number 3 and tire number 1, 50 kilometer is left. I will travel more 50 kilometer, total answer will be 150, and this question has potential to come in the examination. Why? Because this question is not like a calculation based, but this question is conceptual based question. Okay? So this kind of question UPSC is asking more. The reason is what? Or at least 2-3 questions are like this, where chances are there people will make mistake. Fine? If still you have doubt, you can purchase a scooter, and generally like electric vehicles are coming. You can book that vehicles, you can use 3 tire, and you can do this experiment. You can book Ola also, Ola electric vehicle. Fine. Okay, now come to the second puzzle. Now come to the second puzzle. Note it down. A person is smoking 5 cigarettes per day. A person is smoking 5 cigarettes per day for 25 days. For 25 days. A person is smoking 5 cigarettes per day for 25 days. For 25 days. In every cigarette, because you cannot smoke whole cigarette, like you have to leave some part of cigarette. In the last, you have to leave some part of the cigarette. आप हाथ जलने तक सिगरेट थोड़ी ना पियोगे. You have to leave some part. From each cigarette, he is saving one waste part. From each cigarette, he is saving one waste part, and by taking these 5 waste part, another cigarette can be made. Another cigarette can be made. That means he is smoking 5 cigarettes per day for 25 days. And in the last, whatever part is left, because he cannot smoke whole cigarette, some part he have to leave. So that one part which he is leaving, he is collecting that part, and by taking that 5 part, he is saving one waste part from every cigarette, and by that 5 part, by taking 5 part or by collecting 5 part, another cigarette can be made. That means 5 waste part is equal to another cigarette. By taking that 5 waste part, another cigarette can be made. Then find out maximum number of cigarette. Somebody is saying that is filter. I'm not sure. I never smoke. So I don't know whether this is called as filter or something else. Okay. So the question is, what is the number of cigarette, maximum number of cigarette? What is the maximum number of cigarette person can smoke in 25 days? What is the maximum number of cigarette person can smoke in 25 days? Suppose person is a chain smoker. We have to suppose that person is a chain smoker. He will try to make another cigarette. Okay? I am repeating the whole question together. A person is smoking 5 cigarettes per day for 25 days. For 25 days. He is saving one waste part from every cigarette. And by taking 5 such part, another cigarette can be made. What is the maximum number of cigarette the person can smoke? The person can smoke in 25 days. Okay, many people are giving the correct answer. But in my classroom experience, offline classroom experience, generally most of the people will give wrong answer. So either, I'm not saying you guys are not intelligent, but I'm saying either 1 and 2% has given the correct answer and then everybody start writing the same thing, or you guys are searching from the net. I'm damn sure. Because I have taken a lot of class, even 1,000 student class in Mukherjee Nagar, Batra, and there was some 800 student there, but 99% student has given the wrong answer. Fine. Yes, the correct answer is 156. The correct answer is 156. Okay, again a potential question for UPSC. The reason is conceptual part. Conceptual part. The question can be different. A person is eating 5 chocolate per day and he is collecting the wrappers. By giving the 5 wrapper to the shopkeeper, he can take one more chocolate, and this kind of question they can ask. So the question language can be different. Let me explain. Person is smoking 5 cigarettes per day for 25 days. That means he is smoking 125 cigarettes. Now, out of 125 cigarettes, he will save 125 waste part. And by this 125 waste part, he will make 25 more cigarettes. 25 more cigarette. 40% student stop here. 70-80% student stop here. Now the thing is that now again he will smoke these cigarette. Again he will save 25 waste part, and out of this 25 waste part, 5 more cigarette can be made. He will smoke this 5 again, and 1 more cigarette will be made. He will smoke this 1 more also, but he cannot make another cigarette. Why? Because 5 waste part are required. So total number of cigarette he can smoke maximum is 156. 156. Okay? Great. If you guys are able to solve, it's really great. Because this is the maximum trick they can apply. Sometimes they will give coin question. Sometimes they will give this type of question. Okay? So they are basically puzzles based question they are asking in the examination, and most of the time UPSC prefers such question rather than the 30% of this, 50% of this. Concept is required, like a more required in UPSC rather than the calculation part. Okay. Some more puzzles are there, but we will do the some other day. Now come to the profit and loss. Come to the profit and loss. How to add it in the last? Because see, 25 divided by 5, 25 cigarette can be made. Then out of 25, 5 more cigarette, and out of this 5, 1 more cigarette. So total become how many? Total become 156. Most of the student has tried this in the college. Okay, great. At least something is helping you to clear the UPSC examination. This is a great achievement of college. Because other, I think, is not helping if you have done engineering and all. Yes, if you have done the BSc and like a BA, then still some subject are here. But never made a new. Okay, because you might have money. Great. So the thing is that my point is, generally such question people make mistake. I'm not saying yes, you can solve it. It's very nice. I am happy that you are able to solve. Fine. Because what a teacher want, a teacher don't want ki nobody is able to solve. Teacher aim is everybody becomes so much smart. See, what should be my aim? As a teacher, my aim should be at the end of the day, the teacher requirement should be left only 5 to 10%. The teacher, see, according to me, your hard work is 80% and a teacher is 20%. And a good teacher is, after the class, the requirement of teacher become only 1 and 2%. And that teacher is a great one. Why? Because if still you, after the class, if still you are dependent on teacher, what is the point of teaching then? So according to me, my aim is, when I say percentage is over, when I say mathematics is over, then you will say, so now your requirement is over. Now I am able to solve all the problem. And then only my job is done. And if after the class, after the like a maths, you are dependent on me, you are asking so many questions, then what is the point of teaching? Okay. Now come to the profit and loss. Profit and loss. Now be here. Come back. This is the problem. And UPSC know this thing. Generally what they will do in the question, you can go and find out. In the question, they will write, Amar, Akbar, Anthony are going for a visit to some temple, something. Amar, go there for in 2 minutes. This kind of question they will give. And 70% Janta are happy with the name itself. They forgot to solve the paper. They are happy with the name itself. And this is the problem. And UPSC know this thing. That's why you can go and check previous year paper. UPSC always gives such name. Amar, Akbar, Anthony. Okay? Any name which create joy in you, and you forgot how to solve the paper. And if such question will come, what will happen is still you forgot to solve the question. Why? Because you are so happy some cigarette question came. Wow. Okay? You start remembering your college day and you forgot I am giving the UPSC exam. And UPSC know this very well. They have lot of people who are doing all this experiment, all this psychological thing. Yes, exciting name they will give, and people really forgot to solve the paper. So now come back. Come back here. Yes. Now the whole concentration will be on profit and loss. So profit and loss is very simple. What is profit? Profit means increment. What is loss? Loss means decrement. Loss means decrement. When I say increment, then what does this mean? This means change. Or what kind of change? Positive change. Positive change. When I say loss, loss means decrement, and decrement means what? Decrement means negative change. Now tell me, do I require to teach what is positive change? Do I require to teach what is negative change? I think no. Already I have told you. Now come to the percentage of profit or percentage of loss. So when I say percentage of profit, that means percentage of increment. When I say percentage of increment, that means percentage of change. When I say percent of loss, that means percent of decrement and percent of change. Do I need to teach here anything? No, I don't require to teach anything, because already we have done so many things on the percent of change and percent of profit, or percent of increment and percent of decrement. Till now it won't require. See the magic of first two class. See the magic of percentage. Now you will realize why I have gone very slow in first two class. Because all these things are covered. Now what is profit and loss? Some terminology are there. We have to only understand that terminology. What terminology is there? One is cost price. One is cost price. Another one is selling price. Now, do I really require to explain all this terminology? I think no. Suppose this marker. What is cost price of this marker? For making of whatever taxes I required, whatever raw material I required, if I add everything, suppose that is rupees 100, that means I required 100 rupees to make this complete marker, including everything, including raw material, including taxes, everything. The manpower, everything. So that's 100 rupees become cost price. 100 rupees become what? Cost price. What is selling price? Definitely the price in which I am selling this marker to, suppose Vision IS. I am a marker maker and I am selling this marker to Vision IS, suppose some 150 rupees. 150 rupees. So it's a common sense, whatever will be my cost price, if I am selling more than that, I am getting a profit. If I am selling less than of that, I am getting a loss. I am repeating myself. 100 rupees is the cost price for making this marker. This 100 rupees include the raw material cost, the all the cost of the I can say taxes and all. Okay, for making whatever salary I am giving, anything. So I am getting this marker I am making this marker and I am getting this as a 100 rupees. Now I want to sell this marker to some education institute. So definitely what should be my first aim? Always a businessman first aim is to make a profit. So I also want to earn a profit on this marker. So I will come to the Vision IS, I will say, okay, you can try this marker. Now this marker is better than any other marker. They tried, they asked me the price. Suppose I told them 150 rupees. They agreed on 150 rupees. So what will happen? That 150 rupees become the selling price for me. Understand? That is selling price for me. But if you see clearly, suppose if Vision IS also want to sell to someone this marker, so 150 become what? 150 become cost price for Vision IS, because Vision IS is getting this marker at 150 rupees. I am selling this marker at 150, so this is the selling price for me. But since Vision IS is getting 150 rupees for this marker, so he is like the 150 rupees is cost price for Vision IS. So you can see here, suppose Mr. A is there, he is selling this marker to be, the cost price of this marker is 100, A is selling this marker to be at 150 rupees. So this 150 becomes selling price for A. But if suppose B want to sell this marker to C, so this 150 become what? 150 become the cost price for B. And suppose he added 50 rupees more, and this 200 become the selling price for B. So it's all about perspective. In which perspective you are looking all this thing? Is this making sense or not? Now, when we talk about only profit, not percentage of profit, if we talk about only profit, so only profit is what? If you look here very clearly, I can say profit is equal to selling price minus cost price. Profit is equal to selling price minus cost price. And if you see clearly, what is this? Any value was 100, now that value become 150. So can I say your P is equal to change, your SP is final value, and your CP is initial value? Your SP is final value and your CP is initial value. Are you getting my point or not? Because this is also change. Change means what? Change means either addition or subtraction. What is going on? Whenever a profit word will come, in my mind is never a profit thing. What does profit means? Profit means increment. As soon as I will saw profit word, what will strike in my mind? In my mind, it should strike as a profit means some increment is going on. And increment on which value? Increment on initial value. And always here the initial value will be cost price, because profit and loss, this is the golden statement. Profit and loss is always be calculated only on the initial value. Profit and loss are only calculated on the initial value. That means profit and loss are always be calculated on the cost price. Profit and loss are always be calculated on the cost price. Fine. So if I talk about percent of profit, so can you frame the formula? Percent of change is equal to final value minus initial value divided by initial value into 100. Into 100, tell me, this is a new formula or old formula? Selling price, old formula means already we have done this thing. Percent of change is equal to final value minus initial value divided by initial value into 100. What you have to remember here? The initial value, until and unless anything extra is given, you will always consider initial value as cost price. And what is the reason for that? The reason for that is because profit, percent of profit or percent of loss always be calculated on the cost price. Okay? Can I write this formula like this? SP minus CP. Instead of SP minus CP, can I write P? Profit. So your percent of profit become profit upon CP in 200. Similarly, your percent of loss become loss upon CP in 200. Percent of loss become loss upon CP in 200. And what is loss? Still it's SP minus CP. Still it's SP minus CP. Look the broader picture here. The percent of change we know. I am just relating everything with the percent of change. Take your time 2-3 minutes. Try to understand this part. Then probably I will come to the next thing. Try to understand all this part. Take your time. Yes, SP minus CP is negative in case of loss. So the negative is signifying the loss there. Yes, in case of loss, SP will be less than CP. I have made this marker 100 for 100 rupees. But because of some technical reason, this marker is not up to the mark. So what is my aim now? Let at least get some money for this marker because nobody is purchasing this thing. So I have made this marker for 100 rupees, but since this is not up to the mark, I am selling this marker to 80 rupees. Let at least recover 80 rupees. So what will happen? I have a loss of 20 rupees. So SP is equal to 80, CP is equal to 100. That is equal to minus 20. Minus simply meaning is loss. Sir, here SB will always be FB. What is FB? Face, oh, okay, just tell me what is FB this? Profit and loss always be calculated on initial value or cost price, you can say. Instead of initial value, you can make a slash cost price. Profit and loss always be calculated on cost price. That means always when you are finding out percent of profit, then below always cost price will come. Here always cost price will come. Okay. Yes, final value is SP, initial value is CP. So simply I can say what we have learned till now. Okay, profit is equal to SP minus CP. Loss is equal to, still देखो, what is the case here? Some people are saying, sir, can we write CP minus? Yes, you can write, no issue with that. only minus sign will be there, and that minus sign is only showing loss. There is no technical meaning of that. Loss you can do CP minus SP, no issue. Or you can do SP minus CP, no issue. When you do SP minus CP, a minus sign will come. And when you do CP minus SP, no minus sign. Since it is already saying loss, so that means there is no meaning of minus sign there. Are you getting my point? Not? You can do anyway, no issue with that. Either you subtract 80 minus 100 or 100 minus 80. This will become what? This will become minus 20 and this will become 20. There is no meaning of minus because already we are saying loss. So anyway you can go, no issue with that. Generally in books you will find out CP minus SP upon CP. But since we are doing final value minus initial value upon initial value, so you won't get confused. That's why I am taking SP minus CP. Otherwise if I make formula like this, CP minus SP upon upon CP into 100 is equal to percent of loss, then you will start saying, sir, यहाँ तो गलत हो रहा है, final, ये final value हो जा रही है, and this become initial value. Now this is also final value, the whole formula will change. So that's why to make it more synchronized way, I am making as a SP minus CP itself. There is no issue with that because this minus sign is showing just a loss. Just loss. And there is no meaning of this minus sign because already we are saying the loss here. Then the percent of profit is equal to SP minus CP upon CP into 100 or P upon CP into 100. So I told you always the percent of profit or profit and loss are calculated on CP or initial value. Here initial value is equal to CP. So always remember, if anything explicitly given, the profit is calculated on a selling price, then it's okay. Then go according to question. If it is not given, then always we will calculate profit on cost price. So profit upon cost price into 100. Sometime they will give, if profit is calculated on selling price, suppose they will give. So don't say sir told us that profit will be always be on cost price, so we will not calculate on selling price. Okay? If it is given in the question, go accordingly. Hardly one question or two questions are there. But 99% question they won't give, then you have to calculate the profit on CP. Similarly, the percent of loss is equal to again SP minus CP upon CP into 100 or loss upon CP into 100. This is the percent of loss. Don't get confused, CP minus SP or SP minus CP, you can go by any way. But always in denominator, CP will come. You cannot say CP minus SP upon SP into 100. This will be wrong. Final value minus initial value upon initial value. This will be wrong. Okay? It will be always be calculated on CP. But sir, can there really be profit on? No, actually, sometime they will say question like this, by mistake, a person calculated profit on selling price. Something like that they will give. Sometime. Okay, this is formula. We don't need formula, we need common sense. Let's come to the common sense part. Suppose the question is saying, suppose after selling mango at 50 rupees per kg, a random question I am taking, after selling, see, here only three things are there. Please listen carefully. This is how you can solve the problem. The three things are profit or percent of profit, similarly loss or percent of loss, then SP and CP. ठीक है? Understand this thing. Understand this thing. If SP minus CP can get negative, we exclude the negative sign. आप डिसाइड करो, मैं बहुत बार बता चुका हूं अब, ठीक है ना? Yes, beta, we will exclude the negative sign. Profit, loss, percent profit, percent loss, SP and CP. Generally, listen carefully. CP is not going to change. The CP will remain same. The CP will remain same. The CP of this marker is not changed. But SP can be changed. How come? SP can be changed. Suppose Mr. A is making the marker of 100 rupees. He want to sell this marker to B as well as C. Now, he want maximum profit. He went to the B and asked them the price of the marker is 150 rupees. And B agree on that and he sold the marker of to 150 rupees. He went to the C and he tried to sold the marker in 175 rupees. And he succeed. So here profit will be different, here profit will be different. Suppose here profit will be P1, here profit will be P2. So selling price is dependent on the profit or loss. Selling price is dependent on the profit. Here profit is different. So selling price is 150. Here profit is different. Selling price is 175. So selling price value can be different, can be depend on the profit or can be depend on the loss, but cost price will always be same. So you have to find out according to the question, what will happen. They will give SP, they will give CP, or they will give only, देखो, how many questions are there? They will give SP, they will give CP, they can ask percent of profit or percent of loss. They can give SP, they can give percent of profit or percent of loss, they will ask CP. Or they will give CP, they will give percent of profit, percent of loss, they will ask SP. These 3-4 possibilities are there. Okay. Now, suppose a question is there, after selling a mango for 50 rupees per kg, a person is earning 25% profit. A person is earning 25% profit. This is the one sentence. To get 40% profit, what is the selling price? Question क्या है? To get 40% profit, what is selling price? Now, how to decode the question? To know the selling price, we first need the cost price. And how I should know the cost price? Come back to the original part. Here something is given. After selling an article for 50 rupees per kg, a person is getting 25% profit. That means there is a 25% profit on cost price or not? Because profit and loss is always be calculated on the cost price. So tell me, what is the meaning of profit? Remember, profit means increment. Never think about profit, always think about increment. And increment on which value? Increment on initial value. What is initial value here? Initial value here is cost price. That means the question is saying there is an increment of 25% on the cost price. Anybody have doubt here? What is the question? 50 rupees selling, 25% profit. So at least I can differentiate, this is given as selling price. Why? Because the person is selling the mango at this rate. The profit is 25%. So what does this mean? Profit means increment. Always remind this to your mind. Profit means increment. Profit means increment. Loss means decrement. So profit means increment. That means there's an increment of 25%. I told you profit and loss is always be calculated on the cost price. So tell me, what is the percent of profit here? 25%. Increment of 25% on which price? Cost price. That means cost price is increased by 25%. Now remember yesterday class. Remember yesterday class, percentage class. If anything is increased by 25%, can I say the cost price become 125% now? Because cost price in itself is 100%. If that is increased by 25%, that become 125%. And now this is equal to selling price. When you increase 25% on cost price, you will get selling price. Anybody have doubt here? Tell me. Is this clear or not? Is this clear or not? Yes, answer fine. Understand, dekho, my aim is never be answer. You have saw my method. First I will clear the basic. Then whatever problem has came in last year UPSC, I will take everything. But first the concept should be clear. It is clear to everybody or not? Because to solve this problem, n number of method is there. My aim is your concept should be clear here. Your concept should be clear here. So when 25% profit, okay, suppose tomorrow I will say, after selling any object, I am getting 40% profit. The first thing which come in your mind is, there is a 40% increment on cost price. There is a 40% increment on a cost price. If I say there is a profit of 10%, that means cost price is increased by 10%. Very simple thing, sir. Very simple thing. Okay. Now, we know the SP, 50. So CP become 50 into 100. CP become 40. So to get 40% profit, 40% profit means 40% increment. 40% increment on which price? Cost price. So if I increase 40% of 40, so increment means addition. How much? 40%. That becomes 60. That means selling price become 56. Selling price become 56. Selling price become 56. It's a very simple question. It's a simple thing. Okay, somebody is asking, okay, see, what is the percent of profit? Or profit percent is equal to SP minus CP upon CP into 100. This is percent profit. So, in that case, you have to write here, in this value, you have to write 25, not 25 upon 100. Because percent is what? 25%. So already percent is here, so you have to write 25 here, not 25 upon 100. Okay. Now come to the some better problem. Come to the some better problem. Just draw a line in between your page. On one side, note down a person buy 2 articles of 1,000 each. A person buy 2 articles of 1,000 each. He sell 1 article at 10% profit and another article at 10% loss. Find percent of profit or percent of loss. One side. The second side, write down a person sell 2 articles of 1,000 each. This question came in UPSC. Second part came in UPSC. I think 2016 or 15, you can go and check. A person sell 2 articles of 1,000 each. In 1 article, he make 10% profit, and another article he make 10% loss. A person sell 2 articles of 1,000 each. On 1 article he make 10% profit, and another article he make 10% loss. Find the percent of profit and percent of loss. Just think about both the question. Think about both the question. A person buy 2 articles of 1,000 each. First question. He sell 1 article at 10% profit, another article at 10% loss. Find the percent of profit and percent of loss. The language can be better. I'm accepting. I'm not an English teacher, so might be there can be some error in the language. आप भावनाओं को समझिए वहां पे. Just understand the feeling of the question. ठीक है? Second part is, a person sell 2 articles of 1,000 each. In 1 article he make 10% profit, another article he make 10% loss. Find the percent of profit and percent of loss. Okay? Now try to understand the problem. Here the person buy 2 articles of 1,000 each. That means what is given here? The cost price is given. That means cost price of first article is 1,000, and cost price of second article is also 1,000. Cost price of 1 article is 1,000. Why cost price? Because he is buying at cost. Because when people buy, that will be the cost price. Okay. So what will happen? Here the cost price are there. So CP1, CP2 is 1,000. In 1 article he is making 10% profit, that means 100 rupees profit, and 100 rupees loss. Another article, that means no profit, no loss. No profit, no loss, because overall there is a 0 profit or 0 I can say there is a no profit or no loss. So in the first case the answer will be no profit, no loss. And when this answer will be there? When we have given the cost price. Always Understand this part. Whenever cost price are given, there will be no profit or no loss. No profit or no loss. Now come to the second part. Come to the second part. In second part, he is selling 2 articles of 1,000 each. That means here cost price is not given. Here selling price 1 is 1,000. Sorry. Let me use the black marker. And selling price 2 is also 1,000. That means here cost price is not given. And here profit is given as 10% and loss is given as 10%. So tell me, can we say that the profit will be of 100? No, we can't say that. Why? Because profit or loss is always be calculated on the cost price. But we don't have the cost price here. We have the selling price here. So you can calculate the cost price. Here the profit is there, 110%, SP is 1,000, and CP2, loss of 10% means 90%, and you can solve. But my aim is not to solve this problem, because this question is coming directly, and in such cases, whenever selling price is given, and in such case, always there will be a loss. Remember this thing. Always there will be a loss. And how much loss? The loss will be of x square upon 100%. Always the loss will be x square upon 100%. What is x square here? This percent or loss value. The percent and loss value is 10. So 10 square upon 100%, that means 1% loss will be there always. And this is the one case where I prefer, where I will say student to remember this formula. I never say to remember single formula till now. But I am saying to remember this formula because this make your job easy, and if you start solving this way, it will take lot of time. So I always say, student, this is the only one case where I will say, remember the formula. And why to remember this formula? Because this is the case where formula is easier than by solving the concept. So I will say what? I will say, here always will be the loss. Okay, whenever selling price are there, so SP1 is equal to 1,000, SP2 is equal to 1,000, profit will be 10%, loss will be 10%. So we cannot say the profit is of 100 rupees. Why? Because we don't know the cost price. We have to calculate the cost price first. How we can calculate the cost price? Cost price, and there is a profit of 10%, that means increment of 10%. This become 110 is equal to 1,000. Similarly, loss of 10%, this become 90% is equal to 1,000. But you can calculate the cost price, you can calculate the profit and loss, and you can find out the answer. But this is a lengthy process. That's why I'm telling you, whenever selling price is given and profit percent and loss percent are equal, there always will be a loss. Suppose a question is there, a person is selling 2 goat of 5,000 each. In one goat, he is getting 20% profit, another goat 20% loss. What is the percent of profit or percent of loss? So since the selling price are equal, the percent of profit and percent of loss is 20%. So always there will be loss. And how much loss? X square upon 100. What is X here? X is the percent of profit or percent here. In this case, it is 10. I will 10 square upon 100. That means in this case, the loss will be of 1%. The loss will be of 1%. Yes, this formula can only be applied when these two are equal. the selling price are equal. Now your question will be, sir, if they are not equal, if they are not equal, we cannot apply this formula. We can find by the basic method then. We don't have any choice now. We have to find by the basic method then. If these are equal, then we can find by the simply by this formula. See, shortcuts are what? Shortcuts are, suppose 100 students are there in this class, offline suppose class. And it might possible out of 100, some 5 students for going home, they have shortcut. And 95 don't have shortcut. So all those students, 5 students who have shortcut, they can go by that way. And 95 can go by the regular way. So same thing here, all questions don't have shortcut, only some questions have shortcut. And UPSC and any examination are asking that shortcut question also. So if this particular case will come, the answer will be this one. Because generally student will ask, sir, if both are not equal, selling price is not equal, then you can find out the answer. Then you can find out the answer. Minus, if your confusion is why minus here, I am putting minus to show the loss only. Simply always there will be loss. So this is 1% loss. Minus I just put it to show the loss, nothing else. So this question came in UPSC. Now the second problem with the student. They start remembering, okay, if cost price is there, no profit, no loss. If selling price is there, this thing. Now what happened in such case? In the examination, you really get confused. You really get confused. So don't remember. If cost price is there, you can simply say this thing, no profit, no loss, you can do by this method. And if selling price is there, then you can remember this formula. So always understand, don't remember, okay, cost, because hota kya hai ki student come after the examination and they will say, sir, you told us, but we forgot whether in the cost price there is a loss or selling price there is a loss. So I just asked them only one question. Have you forgot your common sense at home while going for the examination? Are you getting my point or not? Don't keep your common sense at home while going for the CSAT paper. Take that common sense along with you. And don't come to me after the examination, sir, you told us, the question was there in the class sheet, but I forgot where in CP there is a loss or where in SP there is a loss. Are you getting my point or not? So don't forget your common sense, use your common sense, use your concept, you never get confused. CP, you can do by this method and you will find out there will be no profit, no loss. No need of remembering anything. Whenever SP will come, then you have to remember only this. So examination, don't get confused. Because here it look easy, but in the examination pressure, mostly student will say, sir, I forgot where in CP there will be loss or SP there will be loss. Beta bhulna hai kyun? Why to forget all this thing? Use your common sense. And if CP is there, you can find out which value you have to calculate. In that case, the loss will be there. So don't forget your common sense at home while going for the CSAT examination. Okay? This is the most important thing. Because these all things I am telling by experience. Because whatever I have experienced, because it's look very easy here, everybody sir samajh mein aa gaya. But when they will go for examination, at least out of 10 students, 2 students, that means 20%, will come and say, sir, I really forgot where there will be loss. No, if more than 2 articles, if value are different, then we have to calculate. And we know how to calculate the selling price, cost price, profit and loss, everything we know. So if it is not given, then we have to calculate. This shortcut is only for this kind of question, not for 3, not for different value, not for anything. I told you, Out of 100 students, might be for 5 students for going home, there is a shortcut. So they can use the shortcut, other 95 can't use the shortcut. If there is a loss of 10% and profit of 20%, you can solve the problem. How you can solve? Loss of 10% and profit of 20%. Then you can solve this thing. You cannot find out by this way, as simple as that. If suppose profit of 20% is there and loss of 10% is there, you cannot apply this method. You cannot use the shortcut. Then this is the student which don't have shortcut to go home. Then you can apply this method. You can find out the cost price, selling price already you have. Once cost price is calculated, you can find out the profit and loss. You can find out the profit and loss. समझ में आ रहा कि नहीं आ रहा? Is this making sense or not? Again, I told you, UPSC want to check your conceptual power. That's why UPSC gives such problem, where you don't require to calculate anything, just simple thing. Fine. But if you remember, then it's become difficult. Then it's become difficult. Some very good problem for your homework. Some from percentage and some from percentage question. One percentage question is very good. It just came in my mind. Just note it down. Out of 200 fishes, 99% fish are red. 99% fish are red. Out of 200 fishes, 99% fishes are red. How many fishes we need to take out so that red fishes become 98% of total? How many fishes we need to take out so that red fishes become 98% of total? Option are 10, 2, 50, 100. What is the question? Out of 200 fishes, 99% fish are red. How many fish we need to take out so that now the red fish become 98% of total? 10, 2, 50, 100. Again a potential question for UPSC. Or potential concept at least. Potential concept for UPSC. It's your homework. You can solve this problem. We will try to solve this tomorrow. Thanks for today class. Thanks for your time. Hope you enjoyed the class. Profit and loss is not completed. Tomorrow first 1 hour I will complete the profit and loss discount concept, and then next 2 hours I will try to complete the compound interest and simple interest. So tomorrow agenda is profit and loss as well as compound interest and simple interest. Fine. Thanks for today. Yes, you can try it. We will meet tomorrow at same time and we will do the rest of the part. Thank you.